that the stones used in building the Great Pyramid came from Torah, and Torah is a 25 mile to the east.
What if everything you learned about the pyramids was a complete fabrication? The official narrative tells us that Pharaoh Khufu built the Great Pyramid using copper tools and 20,000 workers in just 20 years around 2500 BCE. But Graham Hancock, a former journalist for The Economist, who has spent over 3 decades investigating ancient civilizations across the globe, claims this timeline is not just wrong, it's physically impossible. His research suggests we're not the first advanced civilization to walk this earth, and the proof lies buried beneath centuries of academic denial. Graham Hancock represents a different breed of researcher. Unlike traditional Egyptologists confined to academic institutions, Hancock has traveled from the pyramids of Egypt to the jungles of Indonesia, from sunken ruins off Japan's coast to the temples of Central America. His multidisciplinary approach combines geology, astronomy, ancient languages, and comparative mythology to disclose patterns that mainstream academia consistently ignores. For over 30 years, he has interviewed experts across multiple fields, building a case that challenges the very foundation of our historical timeline. The first crack in the official pyramid story becomes apparent when you examine what's missing inside the Great Pyramid itself. The structure stands as the most iconic monument on Earth, yet its interior tells a strangely silent story. Ancient Egyptian royal tombs typically overflow with inscriptions from the Book of the Dead, praises to gods, names of pharaohs, and carved declarations of divine lineage. The so-called sarcophagus in the king's chamber raises equally troubling questions. This plain granite box sits unmarked, undecorated, and completely empty. No mummy has ever been discovered inside. No burial relics, no royal seals, nothing to prove that Khufu or anyone else was ever laid to rest there. For a civilization as obsessed with detailed record-keeping as ancient Egypt, this absence of evidence is deafening. The entire connection between Khufu and the Great Pyramid rests on a single piece of evidence: quarry marks discovered in 1837 by Colonel Howard Vyse, a British explorer. According to Vyse's journal, these marks were found in a sealed chamber above the king's chamber, and they were supposedly named Khufu. However, multiple red flags surround this discovery. Vyse faced intense competition with another explorer who threatened to outshine him. No witnesses observed the actual discovery of these crucial inscriptions. Most importantly, several inconsistencies in Vyse's record suggest he may have forged these marks to secure fame and funding for his expedition. This single questionable piece of graffiti represents the only direct evidence linking Khufu to the Great Pyramid. The pharaoh's name appears nowhere else on the monument's exterior, in no ancient papyrus describing the building process, and in no temple reliefs or royal tombs from that era. Hancock proposes an alternative explanation. Khufu didn't build the pyramid. He found it, inherited it, and claimed it. Later Egyptian dynasties may have restored or reused this ancient structure without fully understanding its true origins. When you examine the engineering precision of the Great Pyramid, the impossibility of the official timeline becomes undeniable. The structure aligns to true north with an error margin of just 0.05 degrees, not magnetic north but true north, which can only be measured accurately using advanced instruments and satellites. Yet this precision was allegedly achieved over 4,500 years ago using copper and stone tools. The pyramid's base covers more than 13 acres, yet remains perfectly level with a variance of less than 1 inch across the entire foundation. Even with modern laser-guided surveying equipment, achieving this level of flatness on such a massive scale would challenge contemporary engineers. The limestone casing stones and inner granite blocks fit together so precisely that a razor blade cannot slide between many joints. Some joints curve, others angle. They don't just fit tightly, but interlock to absorb tremendous force and weight. The official story attributes this precision to copper chisels and dolerite pounding stones. Copper, however, is far too soft to cut granite effectively. Experimental archaeology has attempted to recreate this process using these ancient tools, but results prove consistently slow, inefficient, and inaccurate. At best, it takes hours to make minimal progress on a single stone. At worst, the tools break down almost immediately. Consider the mathematical implications. The Great Pyramid contains an estimated 2.3 million blocks, some weighing between 2 and 15 tons. According to the official 20-year timeline, workers would need to quarry, shape, transport, and precisely place one block every 2.5 minutes, operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 decades without pause, error, or inconsistency. The pyramid's internal design shows even more sophistication. The height-to-base ratio approximates pi, and the structure encodes knowledge of equinoxes, the solar year, and Earth's curvature. This represents advanced engineering, not primitive trial and error. The transportation mystery deepens when examining the king's chamber materials. Unlike the limestone blocks used throughout most of the pyramid, the chamber walls and ceiling consist of granite blocks weighing up to 80 tons each, equivalent to a diesel locomotive. These massive stones originated from quarries in Aswan, over 500 miles away in southern Egypt. The official narrative requires us to believe workers transported multiple locomotive weight blocks upstream along the Nile, then dragged them inland and lifted them over 150 feet high into the pyramid's core using only ropes, wooden sleds, and muscle power. The most commonly proposed solution involves massive earthen or spiral ramps built alongside the growing pyramid. Engineering analysis reveals fatal flaws in this theory. Such a ramp would need to stretch over a mile long and contain more material than the pyramid itself. Despite this supposedly essential engineering structure, no trace of such a ramp has ever been found. Modern stone workers using replicas of ancient tools have attempted to move and shape similar granite blocks. They report extreme difficulty and inefficiency, even with today's supplementary techniques. Many contemporary engineers have stated publicly that they could not replicate the Great Pyramid's construction using the tools attributed to ancient Egyptians. As Hancock puts it, this wasn't manpower, this was know-how. The timeline mystery extends beyond the Great Pyramid to the nearby Sphinx. In the 1992nd, geologist Dr. Robert Schoch examined the Sphinx not as an archaeological artifact, but as a geological formation. His findings sent shockwaves through the academic community. The stone surrounding the Sphinx displays deep vertical fissures, erosion patterns caused not by wind and sand, but by heavy, sustained rainfall. This water erosion could only have occurred during periods of significant precipitation. The Giza region hasn't experienced such rainfall for thousands of years. The last time this area saw enough rain to create these weathering patterns was during the late Pleistocene era, approximately 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. Schoch's analysis points to a carving date around 10,500 BCE, thousands of years before the entire dynastic period of Egypt supposedly began. If the Sphinx was carved this early, it implies that a highly organized civilization existed long before conventional history acknowledges any advanced culture. Hancock connects these findings to the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a proposed comet strike or massive meltwater event around 10,500 BCE that rapidly ended the last ice age and devastated early civilizations worldwide. Robert Bauval's Orion correlation theory provides astronomical confirmation of this ancient timeline. Bauval noticed that the three Giza pyramids don't align in a perfect row. The third pyramid sits slightly offset. This apparent construction quirk actually mirrors the three stars of Orion's belt in the night sky. Using astronomical software, Bauval calculated when Orion's belt would have appeared in this exact configuration directly over Giza. The result? Approximately 10,500 BCE.
What construction workers found beneath Tiger Woods' $80 million mansion wasn't just unexpected. It completely changed everything we thought we knew about him. Sealed under concrete was a secret vault packed with never-before-seen footage, medical records, and handwritten notes chronicling years of pain, doubt, and an obsession with total control over his legacy. This isn't a scandal, it's a disclosure. Jupiter Island represents the pinnacle of exclusive American real estate. This barrier island off Florida's coast hosts some of the wealthiest residents in the country, with property values consistently ranking among the highest per square foot in the United States. The island's strict privacy ordinances and limited access make it a fortress for high-profile individuals seeking complete discretion. Tiger Woods chose this location specifically for its ability to shield his personal life from public scrutiny. In 2006, Tiger Woods purchased a substantial property on Jupiter Island for approximately $40 million. The acquisition included a double lot spanning roughly 12 acres of prime oceanfront real estate, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Intracoastal Waterway. This unique positioning gave Tiger control over an entire cross-section of the island, making his estate one of the most valuable single-owner residential properties in the region. The completed estate consists of two main structures connected by a glass-covered walkway. The primary residence measures 12,000 square feet, while the secondary building spans 14,000 square feet. This multi-purpose facility was specifically designed to support Tiger's training regimen and business operations. The main house features floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, multiple bedrooms and bathrooms, a spacious living area, and a large kitchen designed for both daily use and entertaining. The outdoor facilities represent one of the most sophisticated private golf training complexes ever constructed on residential property. Tiger's practice facility stretches across several acres and includes 4 full-size putting greens with different slopes and speeds designed to replicate various tournament conditions. The complex features 6 bunkers with varying depths and sand types, ranging from Augusta-style white silica to British Open-style compacted turf sand. Each putting green is maintained at different heights to simulate fairway, fringe, and rough conditions. One green is specifically maintained at higher speeds to replicate U.S. Open tournament conditions. The wedge range allows Tiger to practice shots from 85 to 145 yards into various green shapes with changing pin positions, enabling precise distance control and ball flight adjustments under different wind conditions. The facility incorporates advanced technology throughout. Built-in sensors track landing angles, spin rates, and carry distances, providing detailed data for equipment adjustments and swing analysis. Launch monitors and force plate systems in the indoor hitting bay allow for comprehensive swing analysis regardless of weather conditions. An elevated observation platform built into one of the support buildings enables coaches to film and analyze sessions from above, providing optimal visibility of ball flight, setup alignment, and swing path. Years after settling into the estate, Tiger began experiencing structural issues with the main residence. Small but persistent problems emerged, starting with uneven settling on the east side of the house. Doors failed to close properly, and floor tiles developed hairline cracks. Initially dismissed as normal coastal property settling, these issues eventually became too consistent to ignore. Structural engineering evaluation revealed that ground beneath the foundation had shifted slightly over time due to natural erosion combined with rising groundwater levels. While the home faced no immediate danger, engineers recommended preventative measures to avoid future damage. The proposed solution involved drilling pilings into the subsoil to better anchor the structure, a common practice for luxury coastal homes in Florida. Construction crews began work quietly, operating primarily during night and early morning hours to avoid attention. Permits were filed under routine maintenance categories with no public statements or press releases. The crew consisted exclusively of contractors who had worked on the original estate construction. Tiger's staff received instructions to maintain complete discretion about the project, consistent with standard privacy protocols on the property. During the early phase of foundation work near the northeast section of the property, workers encountered an unexpected obstruction beneath a concrete slab. After removing several inches of reinforced concrete and protective fill, they discovered what appeared to be a sealed steel door embedded horizontally into the foundation. The discovery was immediately reported to Tiger, who authorized further inspection while insisting on complete confidentiality. Contractors brought in specialized equipment to break the seal, revealing the entry to a narrow concrete shaft extending approximately 12 feet underground. At the bottom lay a square chamber measuring roughly 20 feet long by 15 feet wide, complete with independent air ducting, electrical feed, and moisture-resistant interior finish. The room appeared empty at first inspection, but featured no visible external access, no interior connection to the house, and no lock from the outside. Construction materials and systems matched those used during the early 2010s build-out, indicating intentional addition during the estate's original construction phase. When informed about the sealed room, Tiger reportedly provided specific instructions for cataloging, cleaning, and photographing everything before personal review. Security staff maintained a round-the-clock presence near the access point during this documentation process. The space revealed deliberate organization with custom shelving and climate control systems. Steel containers, archival boxes, and wooden crates were systematically arranged with labels containing dates, initials, and handwritten notes. The chamber contained leather-bound photo albums dating to the early 1990s, with rarely seen images from Tiger's youth, including candid shots from junior tournaments, training sessions with his father, Earl, and family moments never released publicly. One photograph reportedly showed a young Tiger with a handwritten caption reading, "One day they'll understand." 3 preserved golf bags were discovered, including one set matching exact specifications from the 2000 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, where Tiger won by 15 strokes. The grips showed wear, but club heads remained carefully oiled and wrapped. A third bag contained equipment from Tiger's teenage years, representing tools from before his professional career began. A fireproof cabinet held medical records, MRI scans, and rehabilitation schedules from various specialists. Most documents appeared routine until handwritten margins revealed more personal details. One note read, "Sharp pain again today. Couldn't swing, couldn't stand, cried after the session." Another simply stated, "Numbness in fingers. Losing grip strength. Can't tell anyone." Film reels stored in metal canisters bore only year and location codes. After digitization, previews reportedly revealed unfiltered footage showing Tiger alone during rehabilitation routines, occasionally breaking down mid-sentence while addressing the camera. Handwritten logs compared flexibility measurements, reaction times, dietary impacts, and sleep patterns. Physical therapy plans showed customization, testing, and revision based on performance outcomes. Documentation tracked daily practice swings and walking distances, particularly during months preceding his 2019 Masters comeback victory. This level of detailed record-keeping demonstrates how Tiger approached his career's second phase as a controlled transformation rather than hoping for natural recovery. Following the discovery, Tiger's legal and management teams immediately secured all materials and transferred sensitive documents to off-site storage facilities. Film digitization occurred under strict confidentiality agreements with limited technician access. The process revealed over 30 hours of previously unseen footage spanning early swing development, junior tournaments, and behind-the-scenes practice sessions from his college years. Local property appraisers now estimate the Jupiter Island estate could command as much as $80 million if listed, reflecting both the real estate value and historical significance. The vault represents more than personal storage. It functions as a comprehensive time capsule documenting one of sport's most studied athletes. The archive could provide unprecedented insights into performance science, biomechanics, and long-term recovery under competitive pressure. Rather than hiding shameful secrets, Tiger created a systematic record of his truth, preserved on his terms, demonstrating the same precision and control that defined his professional career.
Mr. Carlson, Mr. Travis is here to see you. Travis. I don't know, he claims to be the new program director.
Lonnie Anderson, best known for her role as this witty receptionist on the hit TV comedy WKRP in Cincinnati, has died at the age of 79, and just days before her 80th birthday.
She died just days before turning 80, but what Lonnie Anderson never told the world is what truly defined her legacy. Behind the blonde bombshell image was a woman who defied stereotypes, changed her roles, and fought for respect in a world that wanted her to stay silent and smile. Her final secret? She didn't just play the smartest woman in the room. She was her. Lonnie K. Anderson, born August 5, 1945, in St. Paul, Minnesota, passed away on August 3, 2025, at a Los Angeles hospital following a prolonged illness. Her family released a statement saying, "We are heartbroken to announce the passing of our dear wife, mother, and grandmother." The daughter of an environmental chemist father and model mother, Anderson's early life seemed destined for something beyond her Minnesota roots. Few knew that her father had initially planned to name her Leilani, but changed it to Lonnie after realizing the potential for teenage teasing. This early decision reflected the careful image management that would later define her career. After finishing as runner-up in the 1964 Miss Minnesota pageant while studying art at the University of Minnesota, Anderson's first marriage to Bruce Hasselberg produced her daughter Deidre, but ended quickly. Her acting ambitions remained strong despite this early setback in her personal life. Anderson's journey to Hollywood began in 1975 when she moved to Los Angeles with her second husband, Ross Bickle. Though naturally dark-haired, Anderson made the calculated decision to dye her hair platinum blonde, a transformation that would become her trademark. She later revealed, "I loved being a brunette. It was exotic. People weren't quite sure what nationality I was. There was a mystery. When acting, I could be the bad lady." Her acting debut actually came years earlier, with a small role in the 1966 film Nevada Smith starring Steve McQueen, but substantial roles remained elusive for nearly a decade. Early television appearances on shows like SWAT, Policewoman, and Barnaby Jones gave her valuable experience, but stardom remained just out of reach. She even auditioned for the role of Chrissy Snow on Three's Company, but was deemed too beautiful, too savvy by John Ritter, who said no one would believe she couldn't live in her own apartment. Everything changed in 1978 when Anderson was cast as Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati. However, what few people know is that she initially turned down the role. I went in and sat on my little soapbox and said, I don't want to play this part because she's just here to deliver messages and is window dressing. Anderson revealed. This bold stance led to a character redefinition that would make television history. The show's creator Hugh Wilson listened to her concerns and asked, well, how would you do it? Their collaboration transformed Jennifer into what Anderson described as someone who looked like Lana Turner and be the smartest person in the room. Wilson reportedly hired her after seeing a poster of her in a red swimsuit, reminiscent of Farrah Fawcett's famous poster. He later said Anderson got the role because her body resembled Jane Mansfield's, and she possessed the innocent sexuality of Marilyn Monroe. As the blonde, high-heeled receptionist, Jennifer routinely deflected unwanted business calls for her boss, Mr. Carlson, while keeping the chaotic station running smoothly. Her performance earned Anderson 2 Emmy nominations and 3 Golden Globe nods during the show's 1978 to 1982 run. Anderson's rising popularity led her to walk out during the 1980 summer hiatus, demanding a substantial salary increase. Her power move worked, demonstrating her business acumen matched her on-screen character's intelligence. This success came with a significant female following that appreciated seeing a blonde bombshell portrayed as the competent problem solver rather than a ditzy stereotype. Anderson's relationship with Burt Reynolds began in 1981 when they met on The Merv Griffin Show while she was still married to Bickle, and Reynolds was involved with actress Sally Field. They later starred together in Stroker Ace, 1983, and married in 1988 at Reynolds' 160-acre ranch in Jupiter, Florida, becoming tabloid fixtures. During the ceremony, he presented her with a 7-carat canary yellow diamond surrounded by smaller white diamonds. Anderson later reflected, I think back to the beginning of our relationship, it was so, oh gosh, tabloidy. We were just a spectacle all the time, and it was hard to have a relationship in that atmosphere. Their marriage produced their son Quentin Reynolds through adoption, but ended in a contentious 1994 divorce that became one of Hollywood's nastiest. Reynolds served her with divorce papers in June 1993 and publicly accused her of cheating and being unfit to raise their son. She countered that he was the unfaithful one, addicted to painkillers, and had abused her. Reynolds told reporters, I'm very happy that we were able to sell papers for a year and a half. Why that doesn't translate into money, I don't know. I'm glad America is curious about us. What many don't realize is that despite their public feuding, Anderson later revealed, we were friends first and friends last. She told Closer Weekly in 2019, we have this wonderful child together. Having a son was a big event in our lives, and so everything revolved around him. The financial entanglements from their divorce weren't fully resolved until September 2015, when Reynolds finally wrote Anderson a check for $154,520. After the divorce, Anderson attempted to join Reynolds on his sitcom Evening Shade, but network executives preferred Marilu Henner. She was also offered a role to replace Delta Burke on Designing Women in 1991, but the network refused to meet her salary requirements. In 1995, Anderson published her autobiography, My Life in High Heels, which she described as being about the growth of a woman who survives. She told the Associated Press, I think if you're going to write about yourself, you have to do it warts and all. You may not even tell the nicest things about yourself because you're telling the truth. The book became a New York Times bestseller. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Anderson took on various roles that showcased her versatility. She was teamed with Linda Carter in the television series Partners in Crime, 1984, and starred in the short-lived comedy Easy Street, 1986 to 1987. She portrayed doomed Hollywood sex sirens in 2 television films, The Jane Mansfield Story, 1980, opposite a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, and White Hot: The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd, 1991. Anderson's voice work included the role of Flo in the animated film All Dogs Go to Heaven, 1989, and she appeared in the comedy film A Night at the Roxbury, 1998, with Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan. She made guest appearances on shows like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Clueless, and Melrose Place, where she played the conniving Terry Carson in 1996. Her final role came in 2023's Ladies of the 80s A Diva's Christmas alongside Linda Gray, Donna Mills, Morgan Fairchild, and Nicolette Sheridan. Following her death, Fairchild wrote, "I am heartbroken to hear of the passing of the wonderful Lonnie Anderson, the sweetest, most gracious lady. I'm just devastated to hear this." Despite being typecast as a sex symbol, Anderson embraced this aspect of her career while fighting for substantive roles. "I never thought I would be Lonnie Anderson's sex symbol, but I embrace it. I think I was lucky enough to have been able to play so many different things, and sex symbol was a part of it. I took whatever my career threw at me," she told Fox News in 2021. Behind the glamorous facade, Anderson's manager of 30 years, Steve Sauer, revealed another side of her. Lonnie was a class act, beautiful, talented, witty, always a joy to be around. She was the ultimate working mother, family first, and maintained a great balance with her career. "She and I had wonderful adventures together that I shall forever cherish. I will especially miss that infectious chuckle of hers." After her contentious divorce from Reynolds, Anderson found lasting happiness in her fourth marriage to Bob Flick, a founding member of the 1960s folk group The Brothers Four, in 2008. Interestingly, they had first met 45 years earlier before reconnecting later in life. While many Hollywood tributes poured in after her death, perhaps the most touching came from actress Barbara Eden, who wrote, "Like many, I am absolutely stunned and heartbroken. Our friendship has spanned many years, and news like this is never easy to hear or accept. What can I say about Lonnie that everyone doesn't already know? She was a real talent with razor-smart wit and a glowing sense of humor. But even more than that, she had an impeccable work ethic. Even beyond that, Lonnie was a darling lady and a genuinely good person. I am truly at a loss for words." Anderson is survived by her husband, Bob Flick, daughter Deidre and son-in-law Charlie Hoffman, son Quentin Anderson Reynolds, grandchildren Mackenzie and Megan Hoffman, stepson Adam Flick and wife Helene, and step-grandchildren Felix and Maximilian. A private family service was planned at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, followed by a celebration of life at a future date. The truth about Lonnie Anderson wasn't some dark secret she took to her grave, but rather the reality of a complex woman who navigated Hollywood on her own terms, balancing fame with family and transforming stereotypes into strengths, all while maintaining the grace and wit that made her an icon for generations. Her legacy lives on not just in her performances, but in how she changed the perception of blonde bombshells in Hollywood forever.
So what was it like recording, touring, performing?
It was fun.
What if I told you that one of the world's biggest rock stars accidentally became part of a centuries-old mystery? John Bon Jovi thought he was just taking a quiet family vacation on a luxury yacht, but what the crew found hidden in the walls would change everything and leave investigators completely stunned. This isn't your typical celebrity scandal. No drugs, no wild parties, no arrests. Instead, it's something far more mysterious and valuable than anyone could have imagined. Something that had been hiding in plain sight for who knows how long. Stay with me, because what they discovered will amaze you. A quiet morning on the Croatian coast, the crystal-clear waters of the Adriatic Sea, and then, stepping off a sleek black boat, one of music's biggest legends, John Bon Jovi. He wasn't there for a concert, no screaming fans, no flashing cameras, just John, his wife Dorothea, and their youngest son Romeo, looking for a peaceful escape from the chaos of fame. They boarded a massive 180-foot luxury yacht called Rarity, and trust me, this boat lived up to its name. 5 huge decks, multiple lounges, rooms for 12 guests, and a price tag of $280,000 per week. This was floating luxury at its finest. John looked relaxed, just a regular dad in a black t-shirt and shorts. The locals noticed him, sure, but he kept things low-key. No big security team, no special treatment. Just a family wanting some peace and quiet on the beautiful Adriatic Sea. For the first few days, everything was perfect. The yacht was like a floating paradise. John would wake up early, grab his coffee, and just stand on the deck watching the sunrise. Dorothea would join him, and they'd sit together in comfortable silence, taking in the incredible views. Their son Romeo was having the time of his life with all the water toys, paddleboards, underwater scooters, you name it. The family kept things simple: good food, beautiful scenery, and quality time together. No phones, constantly buzzing with business calls, no packed schedules. They cruised past gorgeous islands, watched dolphins play in the waves, and enjoyed quiet dinners under the stars.